In last night's debate, presidential candidates touched on gun control, but quickly moved on. Gun reform advocates are unsatisfied with the lack of discussion around gun safety and are determined to add gun reform to the campaign's conversation. Lindsay Maislin has more.
The biggest got to go! Hey! Ho, ho!
The D.C. chapter of Gays Against Guns gathered outside of the Trump Hotel this morning to protest Donald Trump's position on gun control. Trump's position? Supporting concealed carry permits and allowing all law-abiding people to own any firearm, including semi-automatic rifles.
If Donald Trump is elected president, he would encourage guns in schools. He would encourage concealed carry permits. His response to gun violence is with more guns, and that's not sensible prevention.
The Gays Against Guns organization formed after the Orlando Pulse shootings in June. They focus on raising awareness about gun control, and today's protest was their way of turning the presidential election conversation to gun violence.
We had anticipated that there would be a gun violence prevention or gun reform conversation last night at the second presidential debate. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So the conversations and issues that matter to Americans have been derailed, and we're here to draw attention to that.
The Gays Against Guns protesters were joined by activists from the University of Texas, Austin, who have been protesting their university's campus carry laws.
We came out to support Gays Against Guns as an ally and as a sympathetic, ally in the cause who cares about representation and about safety and about everything that people are not acknowledging in politics these days.
Gays Against Guns is planning protests in the future, specifically focusing on local elections. For District Wire News, I'm Lindsay Maislin.
The city of Frederick is advising residents that actors will be using fake guns during a filming project downtown. The Silver Spring-based true crime production company Sirens Media is filming today from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Guns will be holstered and there will be no simulated firing.
A bill to allow terminal patients access to assisted suicide has narrowly passed a committee on the D.C. Council. The bill passed 2-3 last week and will be taken up by the full D.C. Council. It will allow people with less than 6 months to live access to request lethal medication from their doctor. Physician-assisted suicide is legal in 5 states across the country.
A pedestrian was struck by a drunk driver in Northwest D.C. Monday morning. Metropolitan Police say the incident happened around 3:30 a.m. near 13th and Kenyon Streets. The victim was taken to the hospital and the drunk driver was arrested.
A historic Loudoun County schoolhouse is getting rehabilitated after being defaced by vandals. Dozens of volunteers gathered Sunday to clean up graffiti plastered all over the old Asperg schoolhouse. Last weekend, vandals painted racist and offensive words and drew swastikas all over the school's walls and windows. The one-room schoolhouse was built in the 1800s and was the country's school for the African American children. Students from Loudoun County Schools for the Gifted raised around $20,000 to turn the building and its stories into a museum. They had just fixed the foundation and replaced the windows before the vandals hit the building. Last Wednesday, Loudoun County Sheriff charged 5 teenagers in connection with the vandalism.
University of Maryland police are warning students after a College Park student was extorted over nude photos. The student told campus police Sunday that he had been the victim of a scheme where the scammer may have taken the pictures during an online video chat session the two had. Police say the student complied with the demands of the extortionist after being threatened with having the pictures posted on Facebook.
American University students will come out on the quad to celebrate queer students and their allies. The Queer Gay Alliance, the largest student group on campus supporting LGBTQ students, is hosting their annual event Coming Out tomorrow.
Coming Out on the Quad is one of our largest annual events. We basically bring a giant door out onto the quad so that people can metaphorically come out with us, and we also have sticky notes that we have people leave positive messages on the door, as well as showing people resources on campus like the K Spiritual Life Center and the Counseling Center that they can use if they ever need any help.
The event organizers say that all students are welcome to come and support their peers, regardless if they identify as LGBTQ or not. Event details can be found at the AU Queers and Allies Facebook page.
Coming up, Hurricane Matthew has finally left the southeast coast, leaving many without basic necessities. So how are those affected by the Hurricane Matthew being helped? We'll look into how the local DC metropolitan area is helping those affected.